Welcome back everybody, let's have a look at XRP, and I know it's getting a bit boring on this channel, and I promise I will move on to some other coins, and just let me know which coins you want me to look at, and join my Telegram and push me to make videos on those coins, because we just go on about XRP all the time at the moment. But there's a reason for it, and the main reason is because we are coming to a point now where XRP is going to show everybody that there's going to be a big change in its price. It's not the dead XRP that it used to be, and it's going to be very much alive. I'm going to show you a few things as the reason why, okay? Just try and not sell you it, but just kind of open your eyes to what's really going on with this, and generally cryptocurrency as a whole. But XRP is like a main part of that. It's in the top. It's still within the top 5. I know that much. So there's so much money in it already, and there's going to be a lot more flowing into it as well. There's so many other coins out there with use cases, and you could argue much better use cases than XRP. I mean, the project itself kind of not so much a success story, even though it's working. What I can see is quite well, but by now a lot of people would have thought that it would have taken over the world or whatever. I mean, it's kind of a completely ridiculous concept that that's the way it's going to go. And the way I like to look at it is price, and it's all about price for me. And I'm sure it is for you. I don't think any of us really care if the banking system uses XRP. All we care about is our investment and if it's actually going to increase in value. So let's have a look at some things then, shall we? So first of all, let's just go back in time. Let's go back in time onto the XRP chart. Okay, so we've got two charts to look at. We've got the one on Binance, okay, and this shows us what we need to know, which is that we're consolidating through all this time, all of last year, consolidating, and actually the same as Bitcoin really. But XRP broke out of that consolidation pattern before Bitcoin, basically moving it into an accumulation phase, which I thought would take a little bit longer. But I'll show you another part of this when we go to a larger time frame, and I've got a Fibonacci retracement on this from the actual all-time high of XRP. What am I on here? 4 hour? Let's get out of that. Let's go to a weekly. I'll show you something on the weekly. So the fib retracement from the top right down to the bottom shows this area here, this big red area, which for the entire of last year and the majority of the previous year, we basically were inside, consolidating this entire time. What this is, if you know much about fibs, when you break it, this is basically a mega resistance, 87 cent, okay? All of this area down here I would class as an accumulation phase, which sounds absolutely crazy, okay? But if you look at it, where it's been and where it's come from, it actually makes sense. Even if we were to be buying at 86 cent, the measure move from 86 cent all the way to the actual all-time high is... it's hard to see there, but it's just short of 300%, so it's a 3x basically, just short of a 3x, 288%. Okay, so an investment being placed there, buying it there, you're still almost tripling your money. Buying it all the way down here is just an easier way to accumulate that much more of it for the inevitable moment where it breaks out of here and then goes essentially parabolic again. Now we kind of went parabolic at a lower area, which is around between 22 to about 27 cent is where we began our parabolic move last time. Our parabolic move this time will begin at 87 cent, meaning that if we did launch and a previous price action doesn't mean that it's going to repeat, but certain triggers are in place for when the moves take place, if that makes sense to you. So the trigger for us here is 86 cent, and the move after that is parabolic. And you can't really measure out a future parabolic run, because what it basically means is the amount of money and interest being flooded into it it's kind of unaccountable. You can't really account for how much it's going to go into. You don't really know how high it's going to go. But you would like to think that, given the history of all other altcoins, even just recently, when they go up 2, 3, 5, 10, sometimes more x in a very short space of time, those parabolic moves have been extremely fruitful. Now they're market cap is obviously a lot lower, so it takes less money for those moves to happen. It would take a lot of money to come into XRP for those moves to happen, to surpass and reach a realistically a parabolic run for XRP. It would have to breach its all-time high, which is what, $3.40 or roughly around that level. So a 3x from this level here isn't parabolic enough. It would have to go even higher than that. So we would like to think that a parabolic move from this level here would, even if it was 10x from the 86 cent, that's $8.60. If it did a 10x, and that's reasonable to assume when you're going parabolic that it could do a 10x from that moment. We see that a lot, and I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it would happen over a period of weeks, maybe a month. This parabolic run here took place on this candle body and was over in simply 3 weeks. In 21 days it was done. 21 days, and it ran that high. Let's just measure that actually from the top to the bottom. In 21 days it went 1,270%. So that's 12, almost 13x. Okay, if that were to happen again, we would be looking at an XRP over $10. That's just a fact. That's what it would be if it were to do the same kind of structured move. So let's just go back into the Binance chart and have a look at what's going on at this very moment. Okay, so we've got a bit of an understanding of where it's come from, where it could go, and the triggers and why those triggers are in place. We've got the Fibonacci retracement, we've got the consolidation has finished, the accumulation has technically begun, and now we're starting to make runs. And also, just to add a little bit of more excuse the pun, but leverage to my argument, the Bitcoin dominance chart is falling down into itself. It's just going lower and lower and lower. Basically what this reminds me, and we'll have to put it, well, we can keep it on a weekly, but this reminds me of what happened 2017 to 18. This is what bull markets kind of look like, and because so much more money goes into the space, no one really wants to put it into Bitcoin because there's so many other alternatives. It's kind of like what you would see, there's a combination of things. You've got people with new money putting new money into things, and they don't really know their ass from their elbow, so they put in money into sometimes what just looks most appealing. Sometimes they look at something and go, oh, that's gone up 10% today, I'll put money into that. You also get more experienced traders like me and possibly you, that know that certain projects are more fruitful than others, and put it into that. And we all know Bitcoin is the safer investment, but it's not necessarily the largest gainer. It holds its value more than the others most of the time, but it's it's, I wouldn't say it's an underperformer, but it's slow, and it's just slow. You look at the state of the altcoin market, and everybody's making so much more money than you would if you just put it into Bitcoin, right? But Bitcoin, you can't, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Bitcoin, but if you're chasing big gains, it's the altcoins that you're looking for. Anyway, there's so many to choose from, people just throw it in all over the place, and this is kind of what happened in this. Lots of new money coming in, the availability to buy altcoins was rife towards the end of 2017, and it basically just took the money away. But during all this time, Bitcoin was going up, so this isn't negative for Bitcoin, this is just positive for the rest of the entire crypto market. So the market was going up, dominance was going down, and it hit what, an all-time low, 35? That is very low. And when did it hit that? January. So Bitcoin had already reached its $20,000 high, and altcoins were still rallying for a little while after. So what does this mean for us as investors or traders with XRP? So the consolidation is finished. It was proven by breaking out of this trend line and not coming down to test it, and staying above it, and now rallying away from it. We've got this very important box here, which we are looking to break at this moment in time. Breaking above this level here will reach the top of that Bollinger Band, definitely, and possibly even higher. I would expect a rejection around that level because it coincides with the last high that we had before everything in the world went down, around about 34 cent. What's going on with that? 34 cent was the absolute tippy top there, and that is where we will find resistance, big resistance I would expect with XRP this time. Breaking above there, however, it will be around 37. to 40 is where we'll be launching from there. But again, you know, we're trying to get out of this area. But what I would say is that there's a big bull flag going on here, and the bull flag looks already like it's about to break. When you see a chart formations like this, so if you look at these wicks, and this is very rough. It's very rough indeed. When we measure the wicks, it's breaking out of this pattern here. So we've already poked our head above this descending sort of trend line that we've just put in there. So rejected here, rejected all these levels here, and staying within this blue box territory. Now we're breaking out of this level here. Breaking out of here would launch us up to about 33, maybe even overreach to 34, where we would certainly be rejected on the first pass. Breaking above there will be going to 37.40. When we're looking at these other indicators down here, so RSI is sort of getting a little high, but it's, you know, this is cryptocurrency. The RSI has to get extremely high for it to get scary, and it's still a relatively safe zone. And the MACD looks like it wants to cross into itself. So as long as the market remains healthy and Bitcoin doesn't decide to dump, and even if Bitcoin did dump, I don't think it would dump further than the center of this Bollinger Band being around 11,400. XRP has still got some good runs to go in the very short term. In fact, I think it's probably going to be alongside Ethereum, the biggest runner. You know, I've got a handful of altcoins, and I've made a little video of the small cap coins, but obviously the large cap coins that I'm involved in are Ethereum Classic, Binance Coin, and XRP. Any other large cap coins that I'm in? Dash, I suppose you could call that large cap, but I mean, generally speaking, I mean, they're all going to run the same. When you have a dominance chart that looks like this, and you've got people like Ethereum and now XRP leading the market, it's going to drain the Bitcoin dominance, and the further this falls, the higher it will go for all coins, including Bitcoin, but altcoins generally, and top cap coins like the ones I've just spoken about. They will rally and they will do very well. There'll be lots of these micro caps and small caps that do even better, but across the board it looks like a bull run is upon us. And I'm not talking about the bull run, I'm talking about a little prelude to the bull run. So just a little taster. It will fizzle out, it won't go on forever. But it's a nice indicator and a good sign, especially when you see dominance diverging like this. We saw it back here. If you'd have got involved in something like XRP when you saw this kind of move here where they started to diverge away from each other, you'd be an extremely rich person. XRP would have been roughly between half a cent to maybe 3 cents around most of this time here, and then just completely went bonkers and bananas. That would be a 7,000% increase in your investment. That's 70x, 70 times what you put in if you'd have done it back there. And I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen here, but I'm saying these charts are looking similar. We haven't seen sort of bearish move on dominance like this since the beginning of what I would consider the beginning of the ultimate bull run for cryptocurrency. We're still a long way away. I want to see us break down beneath 50 to really start to see some amazing returns on altcoins. You know, this could all turn around in an instant, but at the moment, on every single time frame, when we go to the weekly, we see being rejected and beneath the green 50 exponential. Weekly MACD is down, and we go to the monthly, and we also see obviously less indicators there, but beneath the green 50 exponential, being rejected from it here, and it looks like the MACD has actually now crossed. We got our very first histogram in the red since July 2018. And again, obviously going on to the daily, we see all of this is looking pretty nasty on every single time frame. So I mean, alts is where it's at until further notice, and when it comes to alts, it would be hard to pick a project that doesn't make money. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so it's not financial advice, but it is generally the case. It would be very difficult to pick an altcoin, especially one on Binance. You could probably needle in a haystack. You could it'd be like throwing a dart in the dark with blindfolds on. Just pick one. It's almost certainly going to make you some return. Might not be the best, but it'll make you some return. So even though I'm talking about XRP like it's the be all and end all, it's not. It's definitely not. But it's showing extreme signs of strength. And again, just to reiterate, it's not until we break out of this red zone that we'll see really impressive gains on XRP, and we're a long way away from that. But that is the deal, that's how it's going. Just on another note, though, I mean, if we look at the MACD on the weekly, we're still just beneath the 0 point. I mean, we're crossing above it. The histogram's bullish, extremely bullish. As soon as we get completely above this, I mean, moves will take place that will shock and stagger people, because XRP's had such a bad rap in the past, and it's not going to have a bad rap now. I'm telling you now. I've been saying this since we broke out that consolidation phase. This was an easy trade to make. This one was a great trade to make. It was unfortunate that the whole pandemic broke its chart formation. We broke out of it again. These look like little moves, but they're not. I traded this because I saw this happen. It was a 20 odd % move. I traded this one too. It was about a 15% move. And like I say, I mean, charts mean something. They do work, and they work better on the longest time frames. So you can you could go down to you could go down to a 1 minute chart, and you could try and trade that. They do make sense. They do mean things, but it's the longer term time frames that mean things more. And so when we're looking at this, we've got our golden cross here. That's a great sign. We're getting nice divergences away, and this isn't even a perfect spread. It will be soon. It will be soon. It's not a perfect spread at the moment. Once this is perfect, and they're all perfectly aligned and diverging away from each other, that's when you'll start to see the really big moves. Just like you saw with Ethereum. Ethereum at $250 was a perfect spread. It was sitting around looking a little bit like a bit of a bull flag with a bit of a tail off, but the moving averages were perfectly set up. You couldn't get a more perfect chart. You had a positive cross on the MACD. The RSI was nicely balanced. Everything about it was perfect. So this isn't perfect. It's getting there. It's close to it. If we rallied up here and started to consolidate around this level, it would even at the level that we are at right now, but a little bit higher. It would allow for all these moving averages to really start to diverge, being a perfect spread. The MACD would be bullish. We'd hopefully be down a little bit further in the RSI, but it wouldn't really matter so much. It's far from perfect, but it's showing extremely good signs. And again, if you look at these things on the weekly, you know, this weekly has basically shown us that it's been accumulating more or less this entire time since we got into the blue box, into this red box. I'd pretty much say, and this would be sounding silly to people who bought it around 70 cent, but if you did buy it at 70 cent back in September 18, it wouldn't have been a bad call, even though you would have temporarily lost quite a lot of your investment over that period of time. The moving averages and the MACD at that time showed that we were beginning an area of accumulation, and that represents this red box. The whole area is accumulation for the big move. So we're well into the accumulation, even though we're showing bullish moves. All of this, which is a huge area, is areas to be, I suppose you could say, dollar cost averaging into it. But again, I'm not your financial advisor, so this is not financial advice. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. Leave me some comments below if you agree or if you disagree. But either way, this is how I see this one playing out, and it's just a matter of getting as much of it as I can before it launches. And like I say, I just want to reiterate, I'm not one of those people that just bangs on about XRP for the sake of it. I feel like there's a method to my madness, you know, and I know that there's other coins out there that make a lot more money, and I'm involved in a lot of those too. But with XRP, there's definitely a lot of money to be made in the future. This is a long-term thing. It's not going to happen immediately, even though we've seen big gains, and it's one of the big gainers over the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's up 60%. So obviously that's a big gain, but I'm talking really big, and it's not going to happen until the bitter end of the bull run. All of this red zone beneath 86 cent accumulation. Once we break above there, stop accumulating, sit back and wait to pull the trigger to sell it, basically. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice evening. Subscribe to the channel, join the Telegram chat. Take it easy.